My mother always said, we don't know what happened to you. Our other 3 children are normal, but you've been rebellious since the day you were born. In the 3rd grade, one of my best friends brought some cigarettes to church, and we started smoking cigarettes. When we were in the 7th grade, we ended up smoking marijuana. That got to where it really wasn't good enough for me, so we started doing LSD, and all through high school, we just became party animals. Everything I did was rebellion. I went and bought a motorcycle behind my dad's back, and I hid it at a friend's house. I was always into motor scooters and go-karts and things like that. I got my first Harley Davidson right after I got out of high school. I drove it in the house every night. It stayed with me. I could park my Harley in the kitchen. Harley was my god, basically. I served Harley. Everybody I knew that had a Harley Davidson, we all ended up doing drugs together. And one time I was at a party, and a guy pulled out a syringe, and I'd always told myself I would never use a needle. For 8 years, I had a intravenous drug habit. This whole time, I was crying out to God, God, I don't know how to quit doing what I'm doing. Every time I would try to get away from the drugs, these people that I ran with would find me, and I'd end up falling right back in. Even though I was raised in church, till I got real with God, He couldn't do anything because I never really committed. It was all lip service. I would just say, God, if you'll get me out of this, I'll serve you. Or God, if you'll get me out of that, I'll serve you. When I really decided to make a commitment to turn around was when my mother said, I'm not praying for you anymore. I really started to seek God and change because I felt like as long as they were praying for me, God had me covered. It was kind of a hard thing to go from the lifestyle I was living to completely turn around, and so I wasn't real stable. One time I decided I'm fed up, I'm going back, and the pastor's wife chased me down on the highway in her car and told me, you're not going anywhere. God sent you here to get straight, and you're going to stay here and stick it out and get straight. I said, yes, ma'am. I stuck it out. In 1990, God spoke to my heart and told me He wanted me to go to Bible school, so I came to Tulsa to go to Bible school, and I've been on staff there for 20 years now. When I got saved, I didn't think I could keep my Harley because everybody I knew that had a Harley was into the drugs and everything, and I didn't want to participate in that anymore. The Harley was my god for so many years, and I didn't know if I could handle it. You know, every time I'd hear one go down the street, it'd just like, wow, I'd love to be riding. Finally, God opened up a door for me to get one, and I gave it away. I got excited when I realized that it was God speaking to me to sow that as a seed. I realized at that time that when God gave me another Harley, that it was going to be a tool and it wouldn't be my God. God wasn't opposed to me having a Harley. He was opposed to the Harley having me. 7 years later, I got 2 Harleys in 1 year. God called me to go back into the biker realm because that's where I came from. Being in the Tribe of Judah motorcycle ministry, we don't really tell people they have to have a Harley, but we advise it strongly that they ride one. Because when you deal with the people we deal with, you know, the safety of your off-brand motorcycle isn't guaranteed. Not everybody can go back in there and relate to them or minister to them. And one of the reasons we can go back in and minister to these motorcycle clubs is because our founder, Ben Priest, came out of that biker lifestyle, and over the years he's built a ministry of integrity around these guys. They invite us to their clubhouses. They invite us to go on runs with them. We don't drink, we don't party with them. We act like Jesus around them, and we stick with the Word of God. It's not always easy. You don't always get treated just right, but once you understand that they're just hurting people, you can go in there and minister to them. We were at a bike rally, and we went up to one of the camps up there, and I walked up to the tent of one of their presidents and asked him, I said, man, is there anything you need prayer about? And he said, yeah, pray on my son. He said, well, he did a bunch of things that weren't right, and he's out of his mind, and he's in an asylum in California. Doesn't know who he is, where he's at. And I said, okay, we're going to pray. Let's hold hands. I had my guys come up, and we prayed for him. I said, now, when God moves and touches your son, I want you to let me know. He said, okay, I'll tell you. And about an hour later, this guy came running down there, and he said, man, you're not going to believe this. I said, yeah, I'll believe it. I said, tell me. He said, my son called me. He's in his right mind. That's what we do. That's why we're there. Being in the Tribe of Judah motorcycle ministry, we are who we say we are, and we do what we say we'll do, to be a light out there in a place of darkness, and that's what we do. It's the power of God that sets people free, but He uses people like you and me to do that.